To get right into it, immigration is a big topic right now. The White House said that one of the parts of the legislation that they would like to see is a path to citizenship for 1.8 million illegal immigrants. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think will be in the House bill to address immigration?
Well, I think that there'll be a little pushback on that at face value. There's a lot of things we need to do regarding immigration reform, and first and foremost, we need to secure the border. We need to end the visa lottery. We need to end chain migration. We need to end sanctuary cities. I don't think that it's fair to people who have immigrated here legally to have a bunch of people jump line and be granted amnesty. So we'll see what the final deal looks like as it comes through the Senate and the House. I think you're going to see a tougher bill in the House.
What would you like to see as far as the Dreamers? You know, they're kind of the group of people we're talking about here. What would you like to see personally with that group of people?
Well, again, I think we need to find out what kind of numbers we're looking at. I've heard 700,000, 800,000, and a lot of people refer to Dreamers as kids who were brought here by their parents. The fact is that most of these people came when they were 14 to 18, had a pretty good awareness of what was going on, know they were breaking the law, and again, I don't think that you should reward people for bad behavior.
Is there currently any kind of bill in the House right now that's already written, or are we still kind of in the writing stage?
Yes, we've been working on a bill in which I'm a co-sponsor. Raul Labrador, who's a House Freedom Caucus member and good friend of mine from Idaho, he's running for governor there, has helped author this. Bob Goodlatte, chairman of the Judiciary Committee, is also a co-writer of the bill. Martha McSally from Arizona, and Michael McCall, Homeland Security chairman. So these people have crafted a bill that I've signed on to and is getting quite a bit of support in the House that addresses a lot of the things that I mentioned. So we would like to see that come to the floor for a vote.
Infrastructure is another big topic coming from the White House. $1.7 trillion. What are your thoughts on that? And do you really think that's something that could actually pass the House and Senate?
Yeah, well, the devil's in the details. You know, it'll depend on what's happening. I don't think most people have the stomach for a big gas tax increase. But, you know, that being said, part of Trump's plan in his tax reform and business model is to grow the economy, bring jobs back from overseas, which I think he's being successful. We're seeing that with the new tax structure now. So if we're going to grow this big booming industry, we're going to have adequate infrastructure and roads. So we need a comprehensive package to accomplish that. It's just been a little light on details, but in order to achieve what he wants in terms of rebuilding the economic base in this country, I think that it's a necessary process.
And I'm sure that if that were something that passed, that would definitely benefit your district and really this area.
It would definitely benefit here, and it really should be a bipartisan effort. There's not much of that goes on in Washington right now, but everyone should see the benefits of this. It's just, once again, how do we pay for it? So that's what we'll have to be hammering out together.
Now, one of the big successes of the GOP and White House was tax reform.
Right.
What results are you already seeing from that?
Well, I mean, you see industry after industry and business announcing that they're reinvesting. The big fear and the criticism this tax bill was receiving was that big corporations are just going to take their profits and run. We're seeing just the exact opposite, and this is what I thought we'd see. They're reinvesting in their workers, in their companies, plus people now starting in February are going to start to see bigger paychecks. I think most people across Tennessee are going to see $1,000 to $2,000 more. I had somebody come up to me yesterday and say, oh, big deal, $1,000. A lot of people I know, $1,000 is a big deal. And so the point is, people should spend their own money, not the government. And I think this is a huge step in the right direction. It's a big win for the country, not just President Trump.
Now, to kind of go in a little bit of a different direction here, there was a report out late last week that there is a memo in the House in regards to the Department of Justice and the FBI, and potentially what at least we think is in that memo is how they were spying on Americans illegally. Have you seen that memo, and do you plan to vote to release that to the American people?
Yes, I have read the memo. I can tell you it's very disturbing, shocking information in there, things that are going on within our government that all people should see. And this isn't an issue of party. It's not right or left. It's about right or wrong. And I do think everyone should have an access to read this memo. Hopefully that'll happen in the next few weeks. But it is ironic that there's been this narrative about Russian meddling in the election when all along it could be American governments who meddled in the election. And it's really frightening.
So a couple weeks, is that kind of the the timeline on that?
Right. I mean, it's being talked about now with the Intel committee and the president, and I don't see a downside. I hear that Democrats are trying to write their own memo that would kind of counter this, but if we're going to be transparent on this investigation, then let's be transparent. Based on what I saw, I think there's real reason for concern, and I'm happy to read more memos as they release them. But we're better than that as a country. I lived through this with the IRS targeting of conservative groups. We had Lois Lerner, who said that this was all the result of low-level people in Cincinnati, rogue agents. We proved that wasn't true. We proved it went much higher. But then when it came time for someone to own up, Lois Lerner pleads the fifth. Kevin Koskin at the IRS destroys thousands and thousands of tapes, and we keep seeing this repeating pattern. And I think Americans are tired of the federal government and high-up actors within the government being above the law.